get into your family, Kathy,
Right.
because I want to get you have so you have two children altogether, or children,
Three.
three. Okay, and they all with your high school sweetheart, your husband,
Huh?
ex-husband. They all with your high. Was your ex-husband your high school sweetheart?
Oh, no, 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 no. No,
Oh,
that
okay.
that was someone else, my
Okay.
oldest. My two youngest
Okay.
was from my
Okay.
ex-husband, right.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for the clarification. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And
Yep.
so, but give us, because before the divorce, there was you did start a family, and there was some good times. There were a time where you did fall in love. I mean, you can't,
Mhm.
you can't regret that. You fell in love, and it was good, and then it was not so good at times. So, can you tell me more about your family life? How you,
Um,
whatever you want to
oh,
share.
yeah, yeah. So, getting into that, like I told you, when I, came into the Nation of Islam, and then,
When was
it's
that?
very much on family.
When was that?
It's the Nation of Islam.
When did you go into Nation Islam?
Right.
What?
And,
When?
huh?
When? When did
Oh,
you go?
and, 1994.
And that was and why did you decide to do that?
It was always because I grew up in the church.
Oh, you grew up at a church. Okay.
That, oh yeah, my mom's side is a Methodist,
Okay.
then Baptist, so always had that grounded, always still trying to search for
Mm.
faith, and that connection. And sometimes, maybe we take a different route long as we get to that same destination type thing. That's why I hate a lot of times we have so much division when it comes to relation. It's your
Yes.
personal relationship with
Yes.
God. Stop making so much.
Mhm.
Find the
Yes.
likeliness and the similarities, because the main thing is that we have that foundation with him. But
Absolutely.
so I had that, um with the church, and that love for that, but then I was still searching for something else, like missing. Sometimes we get in church and you know the yelling and the shouting, and we the
Yes. The whooping and
music and all
hollering.
that is great, but then I come back like still trying to figure out that scripture. I wanted to dig more into that word in the
Yes.
Bible, and you would
Mhm.
never think.
Yes.
um One thing that I had learned when I had first visited on a mosque is that I was learning more about scripture and those in the Bible with more clarity and Jesus than I did when I was in the
When you
church.
was growing up. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Now,
Mhm.
and some masjids, I guess, in Sunni Islam or what have you, it may be different. There may be a lot of focus in the Quran. We did focus on the Quran, but we're also with the Bible. Because
Right.
I know one thing, Mr. Farrakhan, he grew up in the church, so he still,
Yes.
that
Yes, he
love.
did.
He
Yes,
bedded
he
it
did.
ground, yeah,
Mhm.
on how he grew up, and his mom and his family were back in Boston, and so we heard a lot about Jesus. And I and in
Mhm.
class with the sisters, really getting into the women of the Bible, and so really breaking down more of what I wanted to understand in church, and it brought more of a light to me, and I'm like, then
So
it
why did
settled in
okay.
my spirit, and it made sense for me. And that, and learning more on me as a woman, learning the Bible, learning, how not the spooky part of
Yes.
spirituality, but
Yes.
making that connection with God where you making him flesh within you. Because you can live with the devil in you, you can live with God where you
Ooh.
keep your head in the
Mhm.
clouds if you want to. But he made us in his likeness and image, and we have to realize that within ourselves. And when we do that, it's very empowering because that light is coming from directly with him. You
So why
see
did
that, and so I got a lot of that, and my strength and my knowledge, and really Black people as a whole, and knowing our
mhm.
value and how great we are in God's eyes, the history, and just all of that. So that was a good foundation for me. And as I, grew and helped my people and in the community, um, that really, forever grateful for that
Absolutely.
foundation and what those teachings had done. And this all that, and that's in the mosque. That's how I met my husband, because we very on family, and but then at the same time as you go on, a lot of times we look at ideal things. Like I saw him working in the community, he paid charity, he ain't cheap, charity is half your faith, the same thing with the tithes in the church. So you look at those key things, but then as I look back on it, I see how those things are great, but then a lot of things with compatibility was missing. But the more you get to learn you start to realize the person that's better for you. And he was younger than me, but at that time, I'm thinking about, okay, marriage is something that we stand on as a foundation, but that marriage and faith, is it that helps to build community.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
sometimes certain things we may overlook that you may have seen, but you still be like, well, if I got this, you think about being equally yoked, but then over time you realize, was we really? Yeah, maybe in faith and as we doing a lot of the same things, but as a person, as you as an individual, don't lose out on, because we always say accept your own and be yourself, but then what is yourself outside of your faith, outside who did God make you to be? And as time went on and we got divorced, and he wound up like with an ex of his or whatever, I'm like, I'm
Mm,
happy for him, because
mm,
now you see who he served his purpose with giving me two beautiful children, but
right,
still was, and as far as compatibility and being that person that I really needed for me, that wasn't him.
right.
And sometimes it takes years. We say married with 9 years, and over time, it's hard because divorce is almost like a death,
It is. It
and you
is.
have a level of guilt and everything. You'd be like, well, why? Maybe if I had did things different, maybe it could have worked. Or, but then you look at stuff like, no, that's just wasn't the one. Um, and I learned more about me, and what I tolerate, what I don't, what's
Yes.
more for me, the kind of man
Mhm.
that I would want better.
Yes.
Even though I was 29 when I had got married, but still, that ain't old.
Right. You
That
grown.
ain't
You
that
grown.
ain't
Right.
enough. You got so much
Mhm.
more wisdom later on. You thinking you grown, but you still ain't really ain't really grown,
I mean,
because
grown enough to know better.
you
Grown enough
grown
to know better.
enough,
Yeah.
but you
Mhm.
still
Yeah,
have
you
yet
do.
to discover about
Right.
yourself.
I get what you're saying. So was it
And
amicable?
after I got divorced, it's
Was it
almost
amicable?
like I got a reviving.
Yes. Because I was
After the sadness of it all, it felt like I was back to, not so much, because sometimes you could get so much into your partner and mate that you lose yourself in that marriage. And a
yes.
lot of things on how I was, and a go-getter and a leadership in certain things and certain positions, I trickled that down so he can shine.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
after I
Mhm.
divorced, I felt like I came back
The
into
weight off. It
myself
was a weight
again.
off.
Yeah.
Yes. When
And
so
so, and then I felt good. And I said, now I just got to readjust my life in this new, now single mom or what have you.
mhm.
He moved away to Houston and, remarried. He got three children. And, yeah, so that's
So
life. But two,
was right. No, that's true. So was
no,
divorce amicable?
huh? Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
We
okay,
learned
good.
after, it took some time after a while, let the bitterness or whatever subside. But after a while, you like let that whatever harsh feelings
Yeah,
go. And we
absolutely.
we cool. Hmm.
So was co-parenting good for y'all too at the time? Was co-parenting
It
good?
Noah had his struggles because
Mm,
he wasn't, I don't feel he was there like he should once, because it was like a
mm.
quick thing after divorce. It was immediate. Well, really it wasn't quite divorce, not total yet, before he wound up getting to
Yes.
something. See, the one thing
Right,
with men, they
right.
seem like they can't stay single or by themselves. And
Mhm.
it's like he ain't had none of that time. It's like from one to boom and went on. And then you start building something with someone else, you kind of forget the family that you had. It was like that. And I think there's been some struggles that our children had went through because of that they kept within themselves, like as they grow up, especially with my son, that there was a need for that. um I didn't remarry after that. I was like, good, because my focus was on me for a long time. Now I'm just starting to get into where I can have something that wasn't my focus, and my heart just wasn't in that, and I'm not gonna
And
try to
that's
get into
okay.
something
That's fine.
if I'm not feeling it, because it was so many things I
Mhm.
wanted to do, and I didn't want no hindrance from
That's
nobody
right.
else to
That's
block that.
right.
So as I get older now, I would like, to have someone
So
in
you
my
are open
life and get
to
established. And then sometimes, because one thing I realized was that I was so much, that's probably partly my fault, that they didn't have as close enough a relationship as often with the father, because after that divorce, it was like, okay, you got somebody else, you about to have another child or whatever. Now my children is all I have. And I didn't even want them to go to Houston, because I'm like, oh my God, that fear set in. Like, they go over there and they not treated right. What if she don't do her right? And even if
Mhm.
he wanted them to come for summers, I was like, no. I kept
Yes.
saying like, no. You know,
Oh,
they get older now. I didn't care, but I'm like, they can't speak. What if they don't speak up for
right,
themselves like
right.
that when they were
Yeah,
young?
yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do. What if he tries to keep them? I had all of
I
these
know, I
things
get it.
going
I
through. Yeah,
totally get
all of
it.
these fears, and I was like holding on because now they became like everything. This is all I have now
Right.
is my children. But as looking back on it, I'm like, that was probably kind of a detriment. I shouldn't have done that out of my own fear and let
Yes.
them build that relationship with their
Mhm.
dad. I mean, I can't do anything about that now, but they, you know, they're free to deal with that. My son, not so much. My daughter finally went out there for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Recently, yeah, and
How did they
stayed out
adjust
there with him and the
overall?
family for so,
Yeah,
huh?
'cause I know it was an adjustment for them as well, so how'd they
Yeah.
adjust overall to all of this?
You know, because there was a period in the beginning, like for a while, that he wasn't even like, I don't, he explained to me once, like his own guilt and stuff, instead of, you know, not doing what he should more by right by them, that he removed himself like altogether because of his own feeling inadequacies or whatever.
Mm,
Um, and he said he know he shouldn't, but then they started, you know, talking to him or whatever on their own, communicating him by phone or whatever. But they, because of the distance, they never flew out, you know, went out there to see him until, you know, they got the opportunity. They can do that now. But my daughter just felt like going recently to visit. Phones and conversations was fine, but he would come because he's a personal trainer. He would come and
mm,
see them over the years, you know, and visit, because he would just come to see family and stuff with his work. If he trained or something in New York, he would come by and spend time. They would go out and do things. So he would come visit. But it was the first time that she went out to Houston where he lives.
and how was that?
But yeah, so that was good. Yeah, she had a
How was
good
that
time.
experience?
She's
You
staying
had a
with
good
her
time?
siblings, and she got a sister, so it was good that, you know, because her younger sister liked having her big sister around and doing
Yeah,
things, and
that's
they
great,
got to see
that's
the
great.
horses which she wanted to see. So yeah,
Oh,
they yeah. So she had a good time.
okay, that's good. I'm glad that had happened. So I'm
Yeah,
glad that,
I
you
was
know
happy for that for her.
right. Okay, so that's good. So I'm glad that, you have a successful blended family. So
Hmm.
that's what counts there. So thank you
Yeah,
for sharing that experience. And that's what I'm saying. It goes to show that you can have a healthy blended family without you feeling like you have to be stuck just
yeah,
with the
yeah.
kids, or you
Right,
doing this
right. You
for the
get the
kids,
emotions out of
or
stuff. You get
you don't want to be
old
alone.
residual pain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't want to,
you
you
let
don't have
some of
to do
that
that.
go, and you
Yes.
can do it. You know,
Right.
just respect and understanding, and
Hmm.
you know, a good conversation. You can, you know, it can
Right.
work.
And you the happiest as you can be. So hey, it worked out
Right,
for everyone.
right. I'm content. I'm good. You don't
Yeah.
stay in nothing that's not
Yeah.
serving you.
Yes.
You better
Mhm.
off, like they say, you could do bad all by
All by
yourself.
yourself, exactly.
That's the
So,
truth.
there you have it. So, yes,
There
I
you
wanna
have it.
get yeah, so I wanna get more into, so you're saying that you have a stable job with the government, you have
Hmm.
your family life,
Hmm.
you got divorced, you have to co-parent, so everything is
Right.
flowing, you started to discover, yourself again.
Hmm.
You kind of you ricochet back to you, so
Right.
that's a good thing. So what happened next for Kathy?
Um, so
Did
just working, started, you know, a
yeah,
travel
mhm.
business once my
The
son
travel
got out of
business,
school.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, mhm,
And, you know, learned about that, getting that going, you know, helping
mhm,
others start a home-based travel business. You know, that was fun because I said that's something I want to be able to do more of, see more of this world.
yes,
And that, you know, that was something fun that, you know, I enjoyed. I still have it. I'm not booking as much. I still have my business going, but I'm not doing it as much because I have more of a focus
you
on
have
my
your things
acting
going
now.
on, right,
But
right,
yeah, so because it really, that income helped me to get my son through college for 4 years. So it had me do that. You know, I thank you. I
mhm,
prayed to help do him. That was 5 years because this was all during COVID. Now, my
mm,
son was graduating
okay,
from college during COVID started, and my daughter was graduating from high school. Both of them, she was still upset 'cause she never got a senior prom.
mm,
So that had happened. That really, you know, my son, they was going to just do a virtual thing like hers, but then they wound up splitting the days and opening it up to certain majors, and so he wound up having a live graduation. They just had to split the time up so the
oh,
crowd won't be as
wow,
big, and it was
yeah,
outdoors.
yeah.
But he got to at least walk and do that. But yeah, and so
So, Kathy,
that was a focus, and that
yes,
was, yeah, working and my travel business and just getting them
well,
through
let me
school.
ask
My
you that,
daughter did like a year of massage therapy school. College wasn't for her.
nice,
She didn't want to do that. So
I
I
hear you,
helped
I hear
her
that,
get
I hear
through.
that,
Yeah.
mhm,
And so
um,
yeah, now she's working in the state too.
good, okay.